Everyone's seen that famous video of Da Vinci Jeremy basically begging people to buy just $1 of Bitcoin back in 2013. And yeah, if you had listened back then, that could have turned into hundreds of thousands today. But this video isn't about regret, it's about opportunity. Because most people not only missed the first chance, they missed the second one too. So today, I'm going to show you how to avoid making the same mistake twice. Let me hit you with something insane. If you had bought 1 kilogram of gold in January 2006, you would have paid about 15,000 euros. Now in January 2026, the same kilo is worth about 127,000 euros. That's what happens when currencies lose value and gold doesn't. But before we go deeper, quick disclaimer. This video is for educational purposes only. This is not financial, legal or tax advice. Always do your own research and talk to a professional if needed. Now, to understand why gold matters so much, we need to go back thousands of years. Long before the pyramids were even a blueprint, the ancient Egyptians were already obsessed with something shiny. Historians believe that Egyptians started mining gold way back around 3100 BCE. To put that in perspective, that'd be even before they invented their famous hieroglyphics. Gold wasn't just money to them. It was a symbol of the gods, eternity, and royal power. They used it to decorate tombs, create stunning jewelry, and even make the death masks for pharaohs like Tutankhamun. It really makes you wonder what other secrets are still buried under the sands of Egypt. Gold is one of the oldest symbols of wealth in human history. Long before banks, long before stock markets, and long before governments printed money, gold was already valuable. Why? Because it has qualities no other material has. It doesn't rust, it doesn't decay, it's rare, it's divisible, and it's been desired by every civilization on Earth. That's why gold became more than decoration. It became money. Empires used it, kingdoms stored it, and when wars happened or systems collapsed, gold stayed valuable. So here's the question. If gold has always been trusted, why did the world stop using it as the base of money? For a long time, currencies were linked to gold. That meant money had a limit, because gold is limited. But today, most currencies are no longer backed by anything physical. They're backed by trust and the ability of governments to create more money. And when more money is created faster than real economic value, purchasing power drops. That's why cash feels safe, but long term, it quietly loses value. And that leads to the next level of the story. Because money isn't only economics, it's power. So why don't we just use gold again if it's so solid? Because currency is control. And whoever controlled the dominant currency controls influence on a global scale. The best example is the United States, not only because it's a strong economy, but because the US dollar dominates global trade, especially in energy. This is often connected to what people call the petrodollar system, where global oil trade has historically been priced in dollars, which creates worldwide demand for USD. And when someone seriously threatens that dominance, it becomes geopolitical. Libya is a prime example of a major oil player that was relatively stable before foreign intervention. Before 1969, Libya was governed by King Idris of Libya. Until 1969, Libya was one of the world's poorest nations. However, under Muammar Gaddafi, who took power after overthrowing King Idris in 1969, oil wealth funded major social programs. These initiatives boosted per capita income to over $11,000 and helped Libya achieve one of Africa's highest Human Development Index rankings, with free housing, education, and healthcare for many citizens. Gaddafi also had the ambitious vision of creating a gold-backed currency for Africa, aiming to reduce global dependence on the US dollar and reshape international trade. But things didn't go as planned. By 2011, foreign powers had enough of him and they simply overthrew Gaddafi in 2011. Conflict devastated the economy, causing GDP to collapse. Since then, Libya has been in chaos. But hey, the Western interests are still safe. And that seems to be what really matters in the grand scheme of global economics. And more recently, Iran and Venezuela made oil-related deals under sanctions pressure, including arrangements that work outside normal dollar-based channels, challenging the traditional dollar-dominated energy system. And look at what happened to Venezuela's President Nicolas Maduro and his wife. Under what many believe were fabricated pretexts, the USA struck civilian areas in Venezuela and has now arrested Maduro and put him on trial in the US. Isn't it strange? Iran seems to be up next for intervention. Just a coincidence? What's the common thread with these countries? I guess you understand it by now. It's obviously not because these countries are run by bloody and savage dictators or to spread democracy. If that were really the case, then Haiti would be receiving massive aid to help it rebuild after 7 years of civil war that continues to this day. I mean, just look at this map. Whole areas where anti-government forces and gang activity have become the norm. And why would the US gladly accept to deal with countries like Saudi Arabia, who are not exactly known for their respect of human rights? The real reason. By now, it should be obvious. These countries are major players in energy, oil, and precious metals. And by even signaling a move away from the US dollar or distancing themselves from US interests, they directly challenge dollar hegemony. Nowadays, the dollar remains dominant because global markets still run on deep USD liquidity. The only question is, for how long? And now that you understand the global side and how a currency can be exceptionally strong today and lose lots of value in a short amount of time, let's get practical and go back to gold. Where does gold actually come from? And what makes one gold product better than another? Gold comes from mining, but the supply grows slowly. It takes years to extract, refine, certify, and deliver. But here's the twist. Having the most gold in the ground doesn't mean you have the most gold in your vault. When it comes to official gold reserves, the United States takes the top spot, holding over 8,000 tons. So, having the potential is one thing, but actually mining, processing, and holding on to that gold is a completely different game. To understand that even better, here is a look at which country is literally sitting on a gold mine. Compare that to the previous list of which country holds the gold versus the country that have it in ground. And we have a fascinating look at how natural wealth and economic power don't always line up perfectly. Okay, now let's talk about the smartest personal moves. How do you buy quality gold and where do you store it safely? If you're gonna buy gold, buy the real gold. Not the looks goldish gold, not the trust me bro gold, and definitely not the overpriced shiny junk that loses value the moment you touch it. I'm talking about investment grade gold. 24 karat, 999.9 purity. The same kind that trades at roughly $127,000 per kilo depending on the market. The number one best way to buy real high quality gold is simple. Investment grade gold bars, also called 24K bullion bars. If you want the safest, most trusted quality, go for LBMA approved brands, because that means the gold is internationally recognized and easy to verify and resell. On the bar, you should always see the purity, and ideally a serial number if it's a bigger bar, plus an assay certificate if it's sealed. And here's the trick. The bigger the bar, the lower the premium. So a 1 kilo bar often gives you the best value compared to tiny bars. Just avoid random sellers and too good to be true deals online. Gold bars are amazing, but gold coins have one big advantage. They're easier to resell quickly because everyone recognizes them instantly. Coins are perfect because they are highly trusted, easy to sell in smaller amounts, and great for stacking over time without needing to buy huge bars. The main thing to avoid here is collector coins with crazy markups, because those are priced for rarity, not for pure gold value. If you buy gold, don't buy randomly. Purity matters. Certification matters. The seller matters. As mentioned at the beginning of the video, gold rose from 15K in 2006 to 127K in 2026. If you buy 1 kilo of gold today at 127K and the price continues to increase at the same rate over the next 10 years, your gold could be worth between 289K and over 385K by 2036. Make sure to avoid shady actors and fake deals. Gold may look cheaper in certain countries because purity standards are different. So always verify the carats or fineness and only buy from real professionals. Because owning gold is one thing, but storing it in the right place is what completes the strategy. Now that you know how to buy real gold, here are the best ways to store it. If you watched my previous video, then you already know Switzerland has built a reputation for protecting wealth. Other top locations for storing gold include Liechtenstein, which is ideal for privacy, political stability, and world-class private vaults. Singapore, a super secure, business-friendly hub where qualifying investment precious metals are GST exempt. Two other excellent options are Dubai, known for its modern high-security vaulting and investor-friendly regulations, and Hong Kong, a major financial center with advanced storage infrastructure and global access. The best setup is always allocated, segregated, insured, and audited with serial numbers on bars and clear ownership proof, meaning the gold is physically yours in your name and you can withdraw it anytime. And avoid anything unallocated or paper gold, because that's when you own a promise, not the metal. Now remember, buying gold can make you rich, but that's not why most people buy it. They buy it to protect what they've already built. Every year, money buys less. Prices rise, currencies expand, and savings quietly lose power. That's why gold still matters, because you can't print it, you can't multiply it, and it holds value when trust weakens. Buying gold protects you through diversification. Most people are fully invested in paper assets, cash, stocks, and maybe real estate. Gold often behaves differently, and that's exactly why it's useful. It's not a promise, it's something real you can own. Combine pure gold with a solid storage strategy. And you're not just chasing profits, you're securing your future. You're building survival-level financial security. So the real question isn't, will gold make me rich? The real question is, what happens to your money if the system gets worse and your currency loses value? Gold is boring, until it saves you. And as long as you remember the safest ways to buy and store it without getting scammed, gold is never a bad idea. Subscribe and drop a gold in the comments if you made it to the end. If you liked the video, then like the video, stay tuned, and get rich soon.